Hey, we're back, baby. Pecan pie. Let's get straight into the recipe, shall we? Okay, a couple of things to note before we get into the recipe. You don't have to make your own pastry, you can just buy short crust pastry. Absolutely optional, but I'm going to be making my own pastry. And that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's get straight into this recipe. Let's start by making some sweet pastry. Into a bowl, you're going to place 450 grams of plain flour. Make sure that is high quality plain flour, and 175 grams of icing sugar. Sift them beauties into a large bowl, and then we're going to take 250 grams of unsalted cold butter, and we're just going to dice this into 1 centimeter cubes. Add the butter to the flour and icing sugar mix, and then we're just going to rub this with the ends of our fingertips, being sure we do not use the palms of our hands, otherwise the butter will get too hot and it will ruin your pastry. So we're just going to do this for 3 to 4 minutes until the mix resembles a rough breadcrumby kind of texture, just like you see here in the video. Up next, you are going to crack 1 large egg into the bowl along with everything else, and then we're just going to get our hands involved and work everything around, kneading it together and working it together until you have 1 solid mass of pastry. After everything has come together beautifully, we're just going to turn this out onto the side, being sure we don't work this too much. We don't work it too much, and we're just going to shape this into a kind of a disc that's 1 to 2 inches thick. The reason being is it will cool down much quicker in the fridge, so we don't have to rest the pastry for as long. And that's the next step. Wrap your bad boy or your pastry, whatever the hell you want to call it, wrap that bad boy in cling film and then chuck it into the fridge for 1 hour to rest up. After 1 hour, we're going to preheat our oven to 180 degrees Celsius while we roll out our pastry. So grab yourself a 23 centimeter to 30 centimeter loose based pie tin and grease it with a little bit of sunflower oil. Grab your pastry out of the fridge and remove the cling film. We're just going to roll this out using a rolling pin, using a little bit of flour if needed, until the entire thing is evenly 1 centimeter or as close to 1 centimeter as you can get it. Very, very carefully lift your pastry up, and we're going to lay this over the pie tin. You are then just going to go around the entire tin, lifting the pastry up and pushing it into the corners of the tin as you go around the entire thing. After that, just going to take a knife and cut around all the excess pastry, leaving a little bit of overhang so it doesn't shrink while baking. The next step is to cover the entire thing with a cling film, leaving plenty of overhang. And then we're going to fill this with baking beans or rice, whichever you have and whichever you find easier. After you have done that, you just want to fold the cling film back over the rice or the baking beans. This will just make it easy to remove when it comes out of the oven. Place that beauty into the oven for around about 12 minutes, and after 12 minutes you're just going to remove it from the oven, take out the rice or the baking beans, place them to one side on a tray, and then it is going to go back into the oven for roughly 14 minutes until it's starting to go a beautiful golden brown. That's a light golden brown. We're not taking it to a super dark kind of colour, just like you're seeing here in the video. Turn your oven down to 150 degrees Celsius and then grab yourself a saucepan. Into that, you're going to place 105 grams of maple syrup, 105 grams of golden syrup, 190 grams of soft dark brown sugar, 130 grams of unsalted butter, and then you're just going to place this to one side while you crack 5 medium eggs into a large bowl and whisk them up. Once you've done that, you're going to take the sugar and butter mix and pop this onto a low heat, stirring constantly until it comes to a boil. Be super careful, this is going to be really unbelievably hot. You're just going to boil this for about 1 to 2 minutes until everything has dissolved. Remove it from the heat and let it cool down for 10 minutes. Once cooled down, you're just going to slowly pour the sugar and butter mix into the eggs while constantly whisking to ensure nothing scrambles. And then we just need to sort the pecans. So you're going to get 250 grams of whole pecan nuts, and we're going to place them into a food processor. We're just going to blend this up until we have a coarse kind of a crumble, just like you're seeing here in the video. Pour all of your crushed pecans into the egg and sugar mix and then give this all a real good mix. And the last addition to this beautiful mixture is 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Just put that in and mix until combined. We are ready to bake, baby. So this step is optional if you want your pecan pie to look clean. So you're just going to go around snapping any excess pastry off, ensuring that you don't break the inside of the tart shell. And then we're just going to go around and trim that up with a knife so you have some beautiful clean looking edges. And then we're just going to fill up the tart shell with all of that beautiful pecan pie filling until it is right up to the very edge of the tart shell, minus just a tiny amount because we don't want to spill everywhere and go everywhere. The last thing to do is to decorate the top with some whole pecan nuts. You can do this in any way, shape or form that you wish. I like to place mine down in a nice little kind of star pattern, or you could just chuck them on top for a more rustic kind of vibe. Then it's just time to throw that bad boy into the oven that's been preheated to 150 degrees Celsius for 45 to 55 minutes. After the time is up, remove that beauty from the oven and we're just going to let this sit and cool for about 2 to 3 hours. The way you can check if it's done, there shouldn't be any wobble in the middle.
All we're looking for really is that it's not really wobbling in the middle when we shake the tray. Oh, that's hot. No wobble, and that it's nice and set. And then we're just going to leave this to cool for a couple of hours before we portion it. You kind of want it to be cold. Well, not cold, you know, maybe like room temp before you portion it. But it is also delicious warm. But it doesn't cut very well when it's hot. God, dilemmas, man. Dilemmas.
Once that bad boy has cooled down, remove it from the pie tin and it's on to portioning. You can portion this into whatever size portions you like. I personally went for about 16 because this is quite a rich, sweet dessert. But you do whatever the hell you want to do. And that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe.
So I guess that is us done. Pecan pie. I mean, just look at the state of this thing. How beautiful does that look? Check out the pastry as well. Nice, crispy and flaky on the bottom. Oh yeah, there's so much going on in there. I mean, it's such a simple dessert. That kind of nutty aroma, the oiliness you get from the pecans is really kind of pleasant and delicious. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to be able to eat all of this pecan pie by myself. So I'm going to go find some people to give it away to. I hope you guys have all enjoyed this week's episode. If you have, don't forget, drop a like, leave a comment for anything you want me to make in the future, and subscribe to see future content. I'll see you guys in the next one.